Well, we chose the planet Saturn. It's just like my opinion, like the coolest looking planets.
So Saturn to me, it's like colorful. It's basically anything that it wants to be, but it's by Nick Brown and me.
It can be thought as like one of the most beautiful planets in the solar system due to its rings that are made up of like different like compounds like ice, rock, stuff like that. And it's also one of the few planets you can actually see from Earth if you know where to look, what time to look, and if you know what you're looking for, you can see it with the naked eye without having to use a telescope or anything like that. That's Saturn.
So the basic information of it is Saturn is the sixth planet from the Sun, and it's one of the second largest stars in the solar system. And then,
Alright, well, Saturn is different from Earth because not only is it it's bigger, but it's made out of gas, but it's also, the gravity is a lot greater on it because it's bigger, and it also has 62 moons that are confirmed, and it has 9 that have not been named yet, and Earth only has 1 moon, and Saturn also has rings, Earth doesn't.
so the further information is the Pioneer 11 was launched in April 6, 1973, and it arrived on September 1st, 1979. Then the mission Voyager 1 was launched September 5th, 1977, and arrived on November 13th, 1980. So also Voyager 2, it captured 1,150 pictures of the moons, of its 62 moons, and it also had another, the Voyager was also launched August 20th of 1977, and it arrived August 26th of 1981. And Cassini was launched later in October 13th, 1997, and arrived July 1st, 2004.
Okay, so like she said, not only like there was 3 missions that were like flybys, which the satellite would just fly by and just continue going, it wouldn't stop or anything. Pioneer 11 was like take low resolution pictures, just like really pixelated, can't really tell what you're looking at really. And then Voyager 1 took 900 pictures of Saturn's moons to figure out more about them and stuff. And like the complexity of the rings, because not only are they like made, we don't know when they were made, how old they are, what they're made of or anything like that. Like we know what they're made out of, but we don't know their age, where they came from, or anything like that. But we also, there's something really weird that they do, which I'll explain later on. But Voyager 2, like she said, captured 1,150 pictures of the moons. And like that was one of the flybys. And then Cassini was an orbital and atmospheric probe with Saturn. It was used to understand rings, moons, and the atmosphere, and it also was used to study the core. And this is like a chart of like what they did and stuff like that, the dates, what type it was, and what country led it, like helped in it and everything. And Cassini was also for 12 science experiments that would help scientists understand more about Saturn. All the other ones were just for like pictures, and so you could study pictures. This was actually experiments that they did on the planet to figure out what was unique about the planet that gave it the rings, the colors, and all that stuff.
So, we don't know about Saturn we're still curious about how it got its rings, how they were formed, where they came from, how old they are, December last year, they had a huge storm erupted, and so the scientists aren't sure how much power it gave, how the source of the storm started, or how the scientists aren't sure why the storm erupted when it did. And then it wasn't supposed to show up till 2020, and then they made an estimate of a day lasting, which would be 10 hours to 32 hours, or 35 seconds with either give or take with 13 seconds.
Mysteries about Saturn. We don't know like the rings or anything like that. But the other thing that's weird about them is not only do we not know that like where they came from, but they also have like a weird movement. They make like a wave motion coming from Saturn to the moons, and then going from the moons to Saturn. So it goes back like that, and it goes back with it. And we don't know why that happened. Scientists say that maybe because the core is moving, or there's something inside the core that causes them to move like that. And they are also saying that maybe some of the moons have more of a gravitational pull than Saturn, so it causes like the waves, like the rings, to move back and forth, not knowing which one they want to go to. And the thing about like the satellites and stuff like that, they want to land one on there, but they can't because it'll get down to where it's around 5 or 10 atmospheres before it'll get like burnt up by the heat or get squashed from the weight of the gravity, and we don't know how to like counteract like the weight and the heat and stuff like that. There's nothing that can hold that much weight from it.
How do we find out more about Saturn? It's going to take an unlimited amount of money to figure out more round trips of Saturn, but they want to make a mission to go find more of it. And they have explorers that want to be equipped enough to watch and observe the core of it and figure out how the core goes with it and the rings.
Okay, so what is the main difference between Earth and Saturn?
Earth doesn't have rings.
How many moons does Saturn have?
62.
How far away from the sun is Saturn? It was on one of the slides. We didn't really go over it, but it was on one of the slides. 9.6 AU. How many Saturn missions have been flybys?
2.
Yes. 3. Those one that was the orbital and atmospheric probe. And then how many missions were orbital? And that's it.
All right, round of applause. Good job.